Jesus says a lot of crazy stuff, and that crazy stuff he says is an invitation for us to spend time to walk with, to study, and to reflect on his healing words, which are always giving us life and are always feeding us. These words are alive. And we have to remember that these words were spoken in Aramaic 2,000 years ago, were written down in Greek, and then were translated into English for us to read today. And he tells us today in English, "Beware that your hearts do not become drowsy with drunkenness and with anxieties. Stay awake and be vigilant and pray that you may have the strength." That's a lot to do. And that's not really a fun way to start Advent. So what are you doing, Jesus? We have to remember that Jesus' words are always good news as well. And he's not telling us to stay completely tense, to stay awake, and to stay so focused that we lose focus. I know that's happened to me numerous times. When I would try to stay awake to finish a paper that, I may have or may not have put off until the night before, I'm like, I'm going to push through all night, and I'm going to stay up and do this paper and get it done and type and everything. Guess what happens around, 1:30, 2 o'clock, I'm asleep, and then next thing you know, it's time to go to school, and I don't even have it done. Another time, he says, don't be carousing and drunkenness. Yes, he means, don't get drunk, obviously. But there's another way that we can be drunk, in losing our senses in the distractions and some of the things that this world has to offer us. I know that this Christmas season offers many things to get drunk on, and yet Jesus says, he doesn't say it, but yes, you can have some, happy eggnog at a Christmas gathering or something, if you're of age. But Jesus does not want us to get drunk on the secularism, on the things that distract us from this season and the meaning of this season, which is his birth and his coming into the world. And to be anxious comes from a word that means being fractured by cares and worries and pulled in different directions. This is the meaning of anxiety. We can be distracted and we can be pulled in so many different directions in these next 4 weeks of Advent. We have to get these Christmas presents by this certain date. We have to set up the ornaments in just this way on this date because that's how we've always done it. We always have to prepare these festive Christmas treats for the family, which is going to come, which is also going to stress me out because, whenever this family member comes to my house, it's stressful and all these things. We can be pulled in so many different directions this season. Jesus is not telling us, stay awake, don't sleep, don't get drunk, don't even have a drink, and don't be worried. Because all those things, we need those things. We need sleep, we need rest, we need to relax and enjoy time with our friends, and we also need to care about things so that we can get things done. But what he doesn't want us to become is drowsy, burdened down, and weighted down by those things. And he's not telling us these three things, don't be sleepy, don't be drunk, and don't be anxious, not because he doesn't want us, not because those are the rules and you have to follow them. It's because that is the happiest way to live. For us to be awake in the present moment, enjoying the breath, enjoying this week that we have, not looking too forward or not looking too behind, living in the moment, breathing the now. Because yes, we are waiting, yes, we are anticipating, and yes, we are excited for that exciting Christmas morning, but we are mostly excited for Jesus coming into our hearts. Our hearts are like a manger. They're, a piece of wood with hay in it. That's what Jesus was laid into. He didn't even have a bed. And now all he has this season is our hearts, which are, depending on how we prepare them, could be just a box with hay in it, or it could be a beautiful throne that we get ready for him. So don't be drowsy, but don't stay awake all night. You still got to sleep. Don't be drunk, but you still enjoy time. You have a caroling party to go to. I bet you do. And don't be anxious, but also don't let things go. He's inviting us to virtue, and he's inviting us to the middle ground so that we can be completely happy, so that we can prepare our hearts. And finally, Jesus himself is the one who doesn't take his own advice. He is sleeping. He is asleep in the cycle of death and resurrection. He is in the tabernacle behind that wall, constantly waiting behind that closed door for us to come and spend time with him. Jesus himself is drunk. He loses his senses and he loses all ability to function as he gives himself and loses himself in his love for us, as he completely gives himself to us in the Eucharist. And as we'll see in just a few minutes on the altar, he is the one that is fractioned, and he is the one that is pulled in all different directions as we break the bread, and as we share the bread, and as we go off into the world. Jesus' words are always alive, and they are always good news, and they encourage us to be ready and to prepare our hearts in the ways of virtue, in the ways of enjoying our lives, and in the way of preparing for his coming so that we can go out into the world and bring him to others. Have a good first week of Advent. Amen.